The wonderful world of Bleach has many attributes to it to make it such a magnificent series. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my personal favorite things about the series, and that is of course the Bankai of Bleach. Bleach is a series with many, and I mean many different types of abilities. Bleach has a wide variety of different things to go on about. For example, the Shikai Bleach, the form of which is the initial release of the Zanpakuto. Then we have the fullbringer Bleach, which is spiritually aware humans born with an eponymous ability, which of course is their fullbring. There are many more and wonderful attributes and abilities in Bleach that have loads of explaining and discussing to do. But today we're going to be focusing on the top 5 strongest Bankai in Bleach. On top of that, you also might be asking yourself, what do you typically mean by the strongest Bankai? Well, it's quite simple. I'm going to be basically going off what we know straight from the anime and the manga of Bleach, and present to you basically with the most dangerous and destructive power Bankais, and or even just deadly if that means if it isn't quite as destructive. But before we dive into the video, make sure you all subscribe to the channel if you are new and if you enjoy Bleach content. And without further ado, let's just jump straight into the top 5 strongest Bankai in Bleach. And also forgot to mention, guys, but there will be spoilers in this video, so you have been warned. First up on the list, we have Sakura Kageyoshi, Byakuya's Bankai. And I know this is just basically a boost of Byakuya's Shikai, but Sakura Kageyoshi is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And just for the purpose of this video and Byakuya's Bankai, I'm just gonna stick to saying Kageyoshi, because saying the full name really takes a lot out of you, but it sure as hell is cool to say. Kageyoshi, for one of the main reasons I put it on this list, is because of the widespread of dangerous abilities, both making a good offensive and defensive Bankai. Kageyoshi's more impressive ability, known as Senkai, is the absolute true form of senbonzakura, in which he gathers a ton of petals, gathering into a bunch of glowing swords, creating thousands of swords in a amount of 4 rows. Following that is an ability that follows up on Senkai, which is Ika Senjika, which gathers all of his blades and attacks a single target all at once. This is known as Byakuya Sakura Kageyoshi's ultimate attack. Also, not to mention Kageyoshi's formidable Gokei, which is an ability where it surrounds its enemy in a sphere, leaving no escape for the enemy to escape as he or she is surrounded by blades. Finally, Sakura Kageyoshi's most dangerous ability, in my own opinion, it condenses each and every single one of its blades into a single point, drastically increasing its cutting power, to end up dealing one of the most deadly attacks in all of Bleach. Next up on the list, we have Katen Kyokotsu Karamatsu Shinju, which is of course Shunsui's Bankai. Now, the reasoning behind this Bankai being at the number 4 spot and not the number 5 spot on this list is because of a couple key factors that I will mention later on as I'm talking about Shunsui's Bankai. Shunsui's Bankai Katen Kyokotsu Karamatsu Shinju, which by the way, yes, I know I'm butchering the pronunciation for it, but let's just go with it. Katen Kyokotsu Karamatsu Shinju is a formidable Bankai with many tricks up its sleeve. As Shunsui holds his Shikai out in front of him with both of his blades pointing downwards, Shunsui activates his Bankai, which then causes a black rooted-like substance to spread out from his Zanpakuto spirit. Upon the release of his Bankai, a heavy large aura covers around Shunsui, and it then causes a whole change in others' perception of the surrounding environment, making it seem as if everything is darkened and very gloomy. Shunsui has 4 acts upon his Bankai, in which the first act, hesitance and appointment of wounds. It can cause any wounds that Shunsui or even his opponent to inflict on each other's body, basically saying, if I'm going down, you're coming with me. The second act, Pillow of Shame, which is basically a massive amount of black spots appearing all around the opponent of Shunsui, which causes them to bleed profusely. In short terms, Shunsui wants to make the opponent feel shameful. The third act, the Severing Abyss. It is a ton of water that engulfs both Shunsui himself and his opponent, who both typically remain within it until one runs out of Raitetsu and drowns. And finally, the final act, Thread Cutting, in which it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's basically when Shunsui wields a white thread around its enemy's throat countless times before pulling it taut, in which it leaves a super deep cut in their throat that expands before blowing up his or her head. Coming in at the number 3 spot, down in the middle, we have Ichigo Kurosaki and his Bankai Tensuzangetsu. Now, for the people who have still not read the final arc of Bleach, this is very important to know that potentially if the final fight wasn't rushed, it could have potentially had more growth within his true Bankai. Tensuzangetsu is a melee type of Zanpakuto that to activate his Bankai, Ichigo must place both of his blades from his true Shikai side by side. While the power of the true Tensuzangetsu is currently unknown, a Soul King empowered yhwach considered it dangerous enough to necessity, immediately breaking Ichigo's Bankai following its activation during the battle. Personally, I would have put this higher on the list if there was more of an explanation on it, typically what the true power of Tensuzangetsu is, but now for going off with the main antagonist yhwach said, I'm gonna have to put it off to the basis of the Bankai as if one of the strongest Bankai, if not the strongest Bankai in all of Bleach. Moving on to debatably even the best Bankai in Bleach, of course from the facts provided, we have Ichi Base Bankai, which is pronounced Shinuchi Shirafude Ichimonji, in which Shinuchi is another word for Bankai, and the name Bankai was given by Ichi Base himself. Upon Ichimonji's activation, the blade of Ichi Base brush turns white and becomes a long thick thread that coils in the air around him. Ichi Base can give and change the name of whoever he wishes, who has been struck by the ink of Ichimonji by writing kanji on their body, in which doing so gives his target the properties and powers of the name Ichi Base gives to them. For example, by changing yhwach's name to Black Ant, yhwach would be as weak and powerless as literally a black ant. Ichimonji in itself is, to be honest, just broken, and I mean, we never got to really see the true power and other abilities that Ichibei had to offer. This is why it's debatably the best Bankai in Bleach. And finally, coming in at the #1 spot on this list, most of you already may know what this is, and it's Yamamoto's Bankai Zanka no Tachi. Appearing from Old Man Yamamoto's blade, it takes the form of an ancient and worn out katana which was severely scorched by fire. With the release of his activation, any flames previously produced by Ryojin Jaka are absorbed into the blade. Zanka no Tachi incorporates the full power of Yamamoto's flames into the blade. The flames within the blade burn anything it cuts out of existence. Zanka no Tachi also has a side effect of depleting any moisture within its surrounding. Yamamoto himself, on releasing his Bankai, both the body and his blade are within the flames of the sun. Even said by Urahara that she believes that Zanka no Taichi's flames could incinerate the entirety of the Soul Society if it's out for too long. Zanka no Taichi, sort of like Shunsui's Bankai, has different releases to it for each and every direction there is. The first direction is the east, Higashi Kyokotsu Soijin. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but let's just go with it. In which, when activated at release, it has the ability to concentrate the intense flames of the sword along with the edge of the blade. In short terms, it burns and eradicates anything it touches to nothingness. Next is the west, Nishi Zanjitsu Goke, which when activated at release has the ability that is unseen by the eyes of anyone unless Yamamoto wills it to be seen by anyone else. It engulfs his body in heat which reaches a temperature upwards of 15 million degrees, which is hotter than the surface of the sun. Then we have the south, Minami Kaka Jumano Kakushi Daisojin. And once again, guys, I don't know if I'm saying these right at all, probably not, but once again, let's just go with it. This one in specific is my favorite because Yamamoto himself can bring forth any specific corpse which he wishes, allowing him to inflict psychological damage upon those with connections to those he has slain, which is absolutely insane because it basically means that anyone he has slain with his blade comes forth from the ground, and doing so his enemies, and it can be his fellow allies or anyone he has a connection with. Finally, we have the fourth and final direction, which is north, Kita Tenshi Kaijin, in which, to put it simply, is a slash of concentrated fire and heat which incinerates whatever it touches out of existence. On everything, this Bankai is undoubtedly the strongest in my own opinion, of course, and I believe it is for most of you as well. And that about wraps it up for the top 5 strongest Bankai in Bleach. I hope most of you enjoyed this video because I'm aware that there will be some people in the comments that disagree with this top 5. And hey, that's okay. I mean, we all have our own opinions, and if you had something to say or maybe change about this list, leave a comment down below letting me know what that could be. And with that, guys, make sure you all subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And do me a favor, leave a like on this video if you did enjoy. And with that, everyone, my Twitter is @AnimeAugie, and I will catch each and every single one of you in the next video. Peace.